So it's my great pleasure to welcome Declan Spring, Senior Editor at New Directions, and it's my understanding he's going to touch on the William Carlos Williams tradition at New Directions. So please welcome Declan Spring. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out. The story of New Directions and Williams really probably began in December 1933 when James Laughlin, who's the founder of New Directions, was in his second year at Harvard. Laughlin had heard about Williams from his teacher at Choate School, Dudley Fitz, and Ezra Pound. Well, that December, Laughlin wrote to Williams and asked him for a contribution to the Harvard student literary magazine, The Advocate, and an essay appeared in the February 1934 issue. The first book to carry the New Directions imprint was New Directions in Poetry and Prose in 1936. And that volume contained a poem and a short story and an essay by Williams, along with work by Marion Moore and Wallace Stevens, Gertrude Stein, and others. This was at a time when those authors were not nearly as popular as they are today. Laughlin's long-term strategy, which is still in effect today and carried on amazingly successfully by our staff of 10, was to build a list of experimental literary works with Williams and Ezra Pound as the foundation. Despite bumps in the road, especially during the 1950s when Williams went to Random House for a short period against James Laughlin's wishes, the Williams and the New Directions Association continued throughout Williams' life. Today, New Directions publishes virtually all of Williams's significant works in poetry and prose, and also acts as the agent, controlling the Williams copyrights for the Williams heirs. New Directions of Williams' works include a facsimile of the 1923 Contact Press edition of Spring and All, which just came out this spring, and a forthcoming memoir by Williams's son, also a doctor, William Eric Williams. ND continues to carry on Laughlin's mission, publishing not only poetry in the tradition of Pound and Williams, but we have a huge fiction list too. James Laughlin traveled extensively and wanted New Directions' publishing program to offer a wide array of literary works in translation. ND was the first in the US to publish writers like Borges, Camus, Mishima, Mallarmé, Montale, Neruda, Octavio Paz, Rimbaud, and Sartre, among many others. Over half of the books we publish now are literary works in translation, and many of those are Latin and Spanish authors, including Roberto Bolaño, who we've published very successfully, the Argentine Cesar Ira, and many others. And I really do encourage you to visit our website and get acquainted with some of these incredible writers. So it won't be a surprise to you at all that when Jonathan Cohen proposed the idea to us of publishing a book of Williams's translations of Spanish and Latin American poets, it was just so clearly a project we should take on. And John and Julio will tell you all about the book, and I'm sure you'll really find the story behind it incredibly compelling. It's a great story. And I do also hope you'll purchase the book, which is for sale out here after the event. And thank you again for coming, and next up is Julio.